I have the keys to what is quite possibly the nicest 2010 first-gen Panamera 4S in existence. I'm going to be driving it and giving you my impressions.
Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video.
Porsche was new to the sedan market when it launched the Panamera S, 4S, and Turbo for the 2010 model year. Sure, it had another four-door in the Cayenne, but nothing for those who didn't want an SUV. Some might argue the first-gen Panamera isn't actually a sedan, but a wagon, and I agree. But that's not how Porsche classified it, so we'll refer to it as a sedan. The story goes that then CEO Wendelin Wiedeking, a tall man, had one requirement for the back seat. His head shouldn't touch the headliner when seated, hence the wagon-like roofline. I think it looks great, not traditionally beautiful, but distinct from anything else on the road. And yes, there is plenty of headroom and other creature comforts in this Panamera 4S. One of the great things about the Panamera, if you're looking for one used, is depreciation. A 4S would have been $93,800 new if it had no options. This one has many options, so it was purchased new by the current owners for about $150,000. On the used market, it's probably a $40,000 to $50,000 car, taking into account that it might be the nicest first-gen Panamera 4S in existence. A low-miles concours car that's won at Porsche Parade. One with higher mileage and in slightly less perfect condition is probably in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. A lot of car for less than the price of the average new vehicle. What one gets for that money is a super luxurious sedan with the jewel of a naturally aspirated V8, 400 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. Paired with the standard 7-speed PDK dual-clutch automatic, it'll fire off 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds, according to Porsche. The PDK transmission, the only one offered in the US, was a new technology for Porsche in 2010, having graced Porsche's sports car offerings the year before. But it absolutely makes this 13-year-old sedan drive like a newer car. We'll put the full list of options in the description, but here are the basics. Yachting blue metallic paint, two-tone leather in yachting blue, sport exhaust, air suspension with active anti-roll bars, ceramic composite brakes, and 21-inch RS Spyder Design wheels. All right, we are now in a 2010 Panamera 4S. This one has 27,100 miles, or just under 27,100. And as I said in the intro, this is quite possibly the nicest Panamera 4S, or first-gen Panamera for that matter, that you'll probably ever find. This car has won concours events at Parade, and it's just been lovingly well maintained. The owners of this car have had it since brand new. When they ordered it in yachting blue exterior with a cream interior, burl walnut wood trim, and then yachting blue leather in certain places, such as on the dashboard, on the wheel. You know, I'm not really usually a fan of wood on steering wheels, but paired with yachting blue, it looks really nice. One thing that you'll notice in a Panamera is that they're really nice, but they also have very different options or levels of equipment depending on options. And you could really option a Panamera to the teeth. This one has a ton, such as the sunshade in the back, the luggage wrap that kind of wraps around the luggage really nicely, the full leather interior, the wheels. This one has PASM with Sport and Sport Plus. The owner has asked me not to use Sport Plus on this drive, but I can use Sport and normal modes. And you'll also notice that with the Panamera, this first gen this is back when Porsche still used a lot of buttons. It has a touchscreen, but really button heavy. Almost everything that you would want is right here. As I said, Panameras are big cars. They're actually longer and I believe wider than contemporary Cayennes.
And I remember when I had one of these new, a Turbo and a Turbo S, in the Bay Area, going through toll booths was an exercise in restraint and just making sure that you have the car pointed exactly where you want to go and you know where your corners are. So the Panamera 4S, all Panameras had, at least in the US, had 7-speed PDK transmissions. Really nice transmission. This was near the start of when Porsche was putting these transmissions into its cars in that late 2000s, or in this case, early 2010s. So really nice ride. You know, we're in normal mode right now, and it feels like a luxury car, maybe slightly sportier, as Porsche has always tried to make their vehicles, whether 4-door or 2-door, the most sporty in the segment. And, sorry, I was just making sure the camera's on. So, first impressions, you can't hear the engine all that much. It's a fairly quiet car, but a bit of road noise does get through. This is a very luxurious car, so the engine note is not the top of the mind here. So shift into fourth with the shift paddles here. I don't want to take this turn too hard because it's been sitting for a couple hours. Let it warm up a bit. But very stable at the speed that I took it. The steering is nice for a car of this size. It's not super numb. It has a good amount of feel. It's not like a 911, that's for sure, but it does a good impression of what a sports car would feel like. You can already feel, actually, going as fast as we are, that this is a very heavy car. Let's turn the volume down there. It's a very heavy car. You can feel it in the nose where that big 4.8 liter V8 is. Let's turn on the sport exhaust. And also, let's turn on sport, because why not? Keep it in automatic mode. Shifts happen quickly. It's not super fast because we're talking about a 4,100 pound sedan here, but it's quick. I think Porsche quoted this at 4.8 seconds 0 to 60 and a top speed of 175 miles an hour, which is no slouch. That's faster than my own Porsche Cayman will go. Stick it into manual mode. Now, in this era of Porsche, we have the steering wheel buttons, right? So you pull back, fourth gear, pull back on the other side, fourth gear, you push forward, and push forward again. They're both downshifts. And I should have said we were down to fourth and third, and then now fourth and back to fifth. But a lot of people didn't like these buttons. You know what, I forget what the arguments were for that. But people like the paddles more than the buttons. Yep. Yeah, you've got that deep V8 rumble that roars as you get on the throttle. So back into second gear. The shifting isn't super fast, but it's pretty quick. Yep. Yeah, this is a big German muscle car is what this feels like and sounds like. Yeah, very stable ride. Now, I know a lot of people, I'll have to bring up the looks here, right? Because when Porsche designed this car, it was controversial. And it came down to the rear end, which was almost more like a hatchback or a wagon than a sedan. Now, I'm here to defend the car because at the time, it looked different. Not the most beautiful car, but handsome and different. You knew you were looking at a Panamera, a lot like a 928. If you came up on a 928 from behind, just flat like a pancake, big rear end, and just looks super futuristic. And this car has sort of a similar feeling, maybe not the futuristic part, but it's big, it's wide, and it just looks like nothing else on the road. Now, fourth gear. Yeah, you got a lot of torque, 369 pound-feet in this car. The brakes are nice. They don't have, these are PCCBs, the carbon ceramics, but they don't have that super touchy tip-in that I experience with newer Porsches with PCCBs, and even sometimes with the steel brakes or the iron discs. Put it back into automatic mode, sport exhaust back into cruiser mode. Yeah, this car has held up pretty well. You know, like any older car, you know, it doesn't have that tight as a drum feeling that a brand new Panamera or Cayenne or Porsche in general would have, but it's good. Yep, floored it, kept it in third gear. Yeah, very linear torque band and power band. Not the most exciting motor, but it gets the job done and it makes a good noise. I think, you know, sport exhaust doesn't seem to make it all that much louder. And, you know, for somebody who maybe wants a luxury car, that's okay. For me, I wouldn't mind hearing the engine note a little bit more in this car. But again, that's not what this car was built for. If I were looking for a four-door Porsche, I would definitely consider a first-gen Panamera, unless I was planning on towing anything, which, I don't know. I've like to think that a race car at some point is in my future. So I'm not sure if I would get this over a Cayenne, because in a lot of ways they're very similar. They're both very big four-door Porsches, only one has a little bit more off-road prowess and towing capability. I don't really go off-roading. I don't tow now, so a Panamera would probably fit the bill a little bit better. You know, but if I'm looking into the future, maybe a Cayenne, you know, but very, very similar vehicles in a lot of respects. Yeah, let's see. What do I think about this car? Car show. It's a Panamera. It is the nicest Panamera that I think I've ever seen, at least, you know, a first gen, something that's, you know, what, 23, 24 years old now with 27,000 miles. It is impressive to see a car that looks in basically as new condition. But that said, it is a Panamera. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you might just pass by it, you know, at a car show and think, I'm going to look at something else, you know, cool car, but you know, and that has to factor into this score. This is a really nice daily driver. This is a really nice road trip vehicle, I'm sure. But as a car show car, you can do it. This owner has done it. He's brought it to the concours at Parade and he's won. He shows this car off. He keeps it clean. But the average person's not going to pay much attention to it. So I think I'm going to give this car, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. And I think almost any other Panamera from this generation might do a little worse, but when you see this car, it's pretty amazing. If you know what you're looking at, you can appreciate, you know, the level at which this car was maintained. Daily driver. I think this would be a great daily driver. It's a little bit big, so if you work somewhere where you need a parallel park or you don't have big parking spaces, maybe this isn't the car for you, but in any other scenario, this would be a great car to drive to the office and drive back and take your colleagues to lunch or on a work trip. Yeah, this would be great. I'm going to call this a 9 out of 10 for daily driving. For road trip, this is the kind of car that was almost built for road trips, right? You know, you've got, you know, maybe not a center seat back there for 3 kids, but you can have your significant other, a couple kids in the back, and luggage for a long weekend, and you would be fine. And although I didn't get to drive this car super hard on the road we were just on, I did drive a Panamera Turbo and Turbo S first gen back when they were new pretty extensively. And these are really, really fun cars to drive on back road. Maybe not 911 fun, Boxer fun, but for what it is, it's a really fun car, and they tend to shrink around you when you drive them. So, you know, this is sort of melding into the fun factor bit here, but I'll bring it back to road trip. The reason I bring handling into this is that this might not be a car that you would think immediately, I want this at my destination to go enjoy some back roads. But actually, you really can in a Panamera, and it would get you to your destination in supreme comfort. Very comfortable car. So I'm gonna give this a 9.25 for road trip. Very high score. And now on to fun factor. So as I said, the road we just drove didn't have a lot of time to experience what a Panamera might handle like. And this is a big car. This is not something you can just get in and chuck around a corner as hard as possible. You might have to learn a little bit, learn the corners, how wide it is, how long it is, and just how it handles, where those limits are. And it's gonna take a little bit longer, I think, to build up to where those limits are. So if you wanted to take this to a back road, you could. You'd have a lot of fun. But it's not a 911, it's not a Boxster. It's not gonna do what those cars can do and make you feel like a race car driver right off the bat. So V8, sounds great. You got a great transmission, quick shifting PDK. It's fast. It's pretty much everything you would want in a fun car. But because it's a four-door Porsche that isn't quite on that edge that the sports cars are, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10 for fun factor. Great car, but probably not the one you're gonna hop into when you're on your favorite back road, but it can do it just fine. And it excels in so many areas that, you know, it's a great car to have around. And that's my review. I hope you liked it. Please feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about this Panamera or other Panameras from this generation. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel. It helps us see what we're doing right, the more subscribers we have, and views as well. Even if you don't subscribe, we love when you watch our videos. That's probably the main metric we use to see how much people like our content. So watch our videos if you like them. That is the surefire indication to tell us that we should keep doing content like this. Until next time.